Welcome to Rebloom, the podcast about reinvention, second chances, and rising into the next chapter of your life. I'm your host, Vanessa Bright, entrepreneur, environmental leader, and someone who believes it's never too late to grow into who you're meant to be. If you're rebuilding, rediscovering, or reclaiming your power, you're in the right place. Let's begin.
All right. Hello, Rebloomers. Our guest today is William Craig III. William is known as the career transition guy. He also hosts a podcast called Get Up and Get a Job. Welcome to Rebloom.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
So I saw a post that William did on LinkedIn entitled Stop Waiting for the Phone to Ring. Your 50 plus job search is actually a professional bill. So I thought it would benefit our audience, so I reached out to William.
Yes, thank you.
So William, can you tell us about your journey to become a career transition coach?
Ooh, how much time you have? Here we go. So age 17, I realized I had a gift for training. I was teaching adult Sunday school class as a teenager.
Oh my!
But here we go. That wasn't sexy. Okay. So I didn't pursue the gift. Mm-hmm. The gift actually pursued me. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until 1999 that I got my first professional training gig. Oh. Long story short, saw an ad in the Washington Post, 1999. Okay. And I answered the ad because I knew I could do it, even though I didn't have a formal training background or training position in my resume. But long story short, the guy, his name is Don Johnson. Don gave me a shot. He said he saw something special in me. And I went on from there to do all kinds of great training for government entities and nonprofits. And fast forward in 2013, coming off of a year and a half of being unemployed, I saw an ad, Maryland Workforce Exchange, and I saw a job ad, and I said, I can do this. I had never done it before, but I looked at my transferable skills, and I said, you know what, I could do this job, and I needed a job, and so I said, I had hired a coach, a career coach, so I did what she told me, and I threw everything I had into it. Got the job. It was with Anne Arundel Workforce Development Corporation.
I'm very familiar with them.
I know you did my research on you too. And so, so Kirk and the team brought me on to work with them. And while I was there, I got certified as a trainer. And then, excuse me, as fate would have it, opportunity came up for me to do some training because one of the trainers was moving to Florida. And so it was perfect timing. I just got certified. There was an opportunity. I raised my hand. And so that was really when things just changed for me as it relates to, I know this is what I want to do. And from there, another opportunity opened up for me to do coaching. So now I'm doing training and coaching.
At the same place or somewhere
At the same place.
Okay.
But speaking of somewhere different, I got recruited away from there by Anne Arundel Community College. And so I started doing a lot of contract work with them. And it was just amazing. And again, that's where I said, this is what I need to do. This is what I want to do. This is what I know I've been called to do. And then I got a call to do work for the AARP Foundation in their Back to Work 50 Plus program. And then I started working exclusively with people who are age 50 and over. And at the college, I'm working with the young people. With AARP, I'm working with the older people. So again, it really helped to shape me and helped me to understand how both audiences really had the same problem. The older people said, I got too much experience. The younger people said, I don't have enough experience. But what it really boiled down to is they didn't know how to market themselves, how to package themselves, how to articulate their value.
And we're going to get into that. But something you said about all the different opportunities that presented themselves to you, and you were prepared. Can you talk a little bit about preparation meeting opportunity?
I believe that I am living what I like to call my Slumdog Millionaire moment.
Okay.
I don't know. Have you seen the movie?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it won 8 Academy Awards.
Okay. I'm bad about movies.
That's all right. I got a thing called "There's a Message in the Movie." But anyway, I'm not going to give it away if you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it. But in the movie, the main character has a lot of different experiences over his lifetime,
right?
Which all led to the main experience that he has in the movie.
I truly understand.
And that's what happened with me.
Okay.
All of the things that I did were preparing me. And I didn't know it at the time.
Right.
But they were preparing me for where I am now. And they all came together. And so what I say to you is that you need to always be working on yourself. Who was it? Someone said, Jim Rohn said, you need to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. I'm going to say that again. You need to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Why? Jobs come and go.
Right.
But if you work on yourself, then you can be prepared. You can recognize transferable skills and pivot into other opportunities should the opportunity arise.
And pivoting is key. Is there anything you want to say? I know some people are resistant to change, and that can hold us back. Is there anything you want to say about pivoting, or being willing to pivot, or being willing to make a change, or what we can do, how we can talk to ourselves, or whatever we need to do to be able to accept? Because sometimes the change is just inevitable, and you either rise to the occasion.
It's
or
not sometimes. Change is inevitable.
Well,
change is inevitable, and that's the foundation on which you should stand as it relates to just what you're talking about, being ready to make the change. Because here's what has happened, especially as I look at older people. What has happened is they've grown comfortable in whatever it is that they've been doing for the last 10, 15, 20, 30, whatever number of years. And the problem is that role becomes part of their identity. So in the morning when they get up, they don't put on Sally, Susan, Jane, or John. They put on, I do X. I'm an X. And so then all of a sudden, when the rug is pulled out from beneath them and they can no longer do X, they lose their identity. And they're not understanding who they are anymore. Because everything that they've been, we've been socialized. You go and you go to a mix or a networking event, you meet somebody and they say, well, what do you do? Right? They don't say, well, who are you? Right? Tell me a little bit about you. Right. But and if they do, most people will start off, well, I do this for a living. And unfortunately, that's where we have to make the paradigm shift, the mental shift. There's a great book by Dr. Carol S. Dweck, D-W-E-C-K. It's called Mindset. Real easy to remember, mindset. She talks about 2 mindsets. I'm not going to give it away. Get the book. It's cheap. Amazon. Okay. But here we go. If you have the correct mindset, then as Jim Rohn said, you are going to be working on yourself harder than you work on your job. And therefore, you're going to be more in tune and in touch with who you are, what floats your boat. So many people are doing things that they gotta do. Hello, come on now. Come on. They don't even like it. But yet I got to do it because I got a family, right? I got bills to pay, etc. Without ever taking the step. And I commend you because stepping out and creating your own YouTube channel, really, and I believe everybody should have a YouTube channel, but that's a story for another time. But getting outside of your comfort zone can expose you to so much opportunity that you wouldn't even imagine. Where I'm sitting is because why? Because I couldn't see around the corner, but I saw an opportunity. As I said, I had never done the job before. But I said, you know what? I can do that. And that's the first thing. You've got to tell yourself, I can do it. Unfortunately, most people will talk themselves out of an opportunity before anybody else has the opportunity to tell them no.
I learned that lesson at a very young age. I was 26. I was in this exercise program with
About 5 years ago.
5 years ago, with the director of a program. He basically offered me a job, told me to apply. I read the job description. I said, "Oh, I can't do that. I don't have those skills." I watched my friend that was in the same class. She applied. She got it. I could have been that person, and I watched her excel and move up in that organization. But I said, never again will I discount my abilities. Yeah. And I have never done that again.
Good job.
I go the other way sometimes, like, oh yeah, I can do that. I can be a brain surgeon. Oh yeah, I can do that. So anyway, let's talk about you have your platform, you get up and get a job platform. What's the single biggest mistake that you see people making in their job search besides the mindset?
Well, that honestly, that is the single biggest mistake.
Okay.
Why? Because if you don't have the right mindset, it's going to keep you from doing all the things you need to do. You know, we talk about resumes, we talk about LinkedIn profiles, we talk about networking, we talk about interviewing skills. But guess what? If you don't have the right mindset, you're not going to do what you need to do to get that resume right.
Right.
You're not going to do what you need to do to have your LinkedIn profile optimized so you can be found. You're not going to reach out to the right people so that you can be introduced to those who can introduce you to others who know about opportunities. We call that the hidden job market. You're not going to do the things like creating a YouTube channel or posting on a regular basis to show yourself as a professional. Why? Because you're not in the right mindset.
So are you saying those things, like having a YouTube channel and posting on a regular basis, are things that we should be doing when we're looking for a job?
2026, yes. Okay. And if you're watching this after 2026, you know what I'm talking about. Because the world has changed. Think about it. 6 years ago, we were in the midst of COVID. 6 years ago. Is the world a different place today than it was 6 years ago?
Yes, it is.
And I believe, I'm not a betting man because I usually lose, but I'd put $5 on the table that 6 years from now, it's going to be different than what it is today. And the more you can, and this is one of the problems that I see people have, the more you can promote yourself, the better off you're going to be. My tagline for my company is we help you get hired, or help you, well, for businesses and for individuals, we help you get hired by making your outstanding stand out. You got to stand out from the crowd.
I like that phrase.
Thank you. You got to stand out from the crowd. If you blend in with everybody else, guess what? You're not going to be noticed.
Right.
So at the end of the day, you got to learn how to stand out. Don't do what everybody else is doing. And C. Dolores Tucker, I worked for her for a short period of time. And her husband used to always say, he was a multimillionaire real estate investor, Mr. William Tucker. He used to always say, the masses are not generally right about anything. And I took that to heart. It's the few. We always talk about the 5% or the 1%. We don't talk about the 95%.
Right. Right. Exactly.
So again, you've gotta stand out. And if you do not find a way to differentiate yourself from the other 283 people who are applying for that job, then guess what? You're not going to get it.
So now we're living in the age of something called AI.
Yes.
Artificial intelligence.
Yes.
I know when we spoke previously, you talked about AI as your job case manager.
Your job campaign manager.
Campaign manager.
Yes.
So can you walk us through that? What that looks like? Oh my goodness.
So this is the premise behind the YouTube channel that I have. You need to subscribe to, called Get Up and Get a Job. And I do a daily live stream on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube called Daily AI Prompts for Job Seekers.
Okay.
And so what we do is I have created prompts and I feed them into ChatGPT.
Okay.
And then we reveal the answer live. Okay. So I don't do anything ahead of time other than create the prompts.
Okay.
And the prompts are based on the various scenarios that one finds oneself in a job search.
Okay.
And so by using, in this case, ChatGPT as your job campaign manager, and I like to say job campaign more than I like to say job search.
Okay.
Because most people are familiar with it. I use the term job search, but it's not about searching for a job. Oh, where is my next job? No, because you can go on any number of job boards and find thousands of jobs.
Okay.
What is it about then? It's about campaigning for that job. Think about a political campaign.
Mhm.
I want to be your next mayor.
Right.
And here's why.
Okay.
That's the position that you need to take when you are proposing that a company hire you for a position. So you need to know, I want to be your next, whatever it is, accounts receivable specialist.
Okay.
And here's why. Here's what I bring to the table. And so by using daily AI prompts for job seekers, I'm able to walk an individual through. And right now in the series, we're at the place where we've just gotten the job. And for example, today's segment was on how to get respect from day one, walking in the door. I'm not going to give it away. I want you to go watch the video, okay?
Can we step it back a little bit though? And so the AI prompt. So can you give an example of the prompt? This is for someone that's looking for the job. They don't have the job yet.
Right.
So what would they
So here's
do?
one of the issues that I find a lot of people find themselves in. I say, so what would you like to do? And Vanessa, you know what they say? Well, I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. And I'm like, okay, time out.
Sounds like you've been in one of the sessions with my clients.
This is what people do. This is what people do. And if it's you, no shade, okay? We want to help you, okay? But really, this is where they start the majority of the time. And I go, time out. That's not the question. The question is, what is it that you do want to do? I've had people who've been afraid to vocalize.
What they want to do.
This is what I want to do. Why? Because either people in their circle don't believe in them, don't support them, don't affirm them as being whatever that is. And so they've gotten to a place where they condition themselves not to say it. I've seen people who, to your point a moment ago, they look at it and go, nah, I couldn't do that.
Right, right.
And so at the end of the day, you've got to know what it is you want to do. All right. So now, if you don't know what you want to do, because having that happen
You're
so much.
You're anticipating my next question.
Having that happen so much,
yeah.
I said, okay, well, we got to come up with a solution for this. So you go into, let's say, ChatGPT. You put in your resume. First of all, you make sure your resume is written correctly. Another conversation for another time. You put in your resume and you say to chat, here's your prompt. Based on the attached resume, identify the top 5 transferable skills and the jobs that I would be qualified for that are currently being marketed today, and tell me why. Real simple. See, this is the part about AI where I need people to understand it's not Google on steroids. Okay? Artificial intelligence has grown to the point where it can do things for you. And I started on ChatGPT probably 2.0, I think it was. Now we're at, I don't know, 6 or something. So I've watched it grow.
Right.
And you can train it.
Oh, definitely.
And so I've trained it. And this is part of what you guys have to do. You have to look at that point of, let me find out how to make this thing help me. And so you're putting that resume in, you're giving it that prompt. Now, it will give you back. It'll go through and give you back those 5 transferable skills. Maybe it's, based around project management. Maybe, for example, maybe you worked in a hotel banquet department and you were a team leader. Well, guess what? Do you realize you were a project manager? Think about that. Every night or day or whatever, you had guests for events, and you had to make sure you had all the wait staff, you had all the servers, you had all the bus people, you had all of that. Then you had to make sure you didn't go over budget, right? So that the event was still profitable for the company. These are things that project managers do.
So AI is helping us make those connections that we're not necessarily making ourselves.
Absolutely. And then even with that, Vanessa, it takes it to another level because it could show you other industries where you could do what you've done before, but you would never make that connection because you were in hospitality doing X. And now it's telling you, well, guess what? You could work in manufacturing. Wow. Why? And then it shows you the why part. because you have this skill, this skill, this skill. Here's where it is applicable to this specific industry. And here are the job titles that you could apply for. And by the way, here are the companies that have openings right now to which you can apply.
So what if your resume is filled with things you don't like or don't want to do? What else could you put in the prompt to help you, come to a realization?
It doesn't matter. See, because your resume is a snapshot of what you've done.
Right.
So that's why I specifically said, identify the transferable skills.
Okay.
Okay. Because even it doesn't matter. You don't have to do what you've done before. Again, you don't have to stay in that hospitality role, but the things that you did in that hospitality role can point you to, again, other opportunities in other places. And by using that prompt, it's going to identify what those other opportunities look like.
Okay. All right, let's shift a little bit.
I like AI.
Oh, no, it's still AI.
Okay.
But you mentioned to me generating income from AI while you're on your job hunt.
Yeah, I have a private client right now who had an idea for a directory. I'm not going to say what kind of directory because she's got her first event this coming Saturday.
Okay.
And we talked this morning. We had a session. She's so excited. And so here we go. Totally different from what she's done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
What happened was she had a situation in her life that taught her some things about handling that situation.
Okay.
From that, she said, you know what? I bet there are a bunch of other people who in the same situation who could use the advice that I have garnered just by tripping up and stumbling over and doing research. So she's put together a guide to help other people in the same situation she's in.
Okay.
And now we created a free checklist. And then from there, they can purchase the actual guide.
Okay.
And they can purchase one-on-one time with her to actually get coaching through that situation. How many people have thought about, my tragedy could be my triumph?
Right.
Huh? I have another woman, 72 years old. We met a couple of times and she's like, I don't know what I want to do. She told me about her dream, which seems to be fading.
Okay.
And so I said, well, let's figure out what else you can do. Next thing I know, girlfriend sends me a text message. Listen to this. She had created music using AI. You hear what I'm saying? Then the next text, when we had a conversation, then the next text she sent me more music, but on a different platform. So now I'm like, oh, come on, now you're showing off. Because now you're telling me you're learning how to use different platforms to create this wonderful music. So the assignment I left her with was she actually sent me three or four. And I said, okay, I need 10. When we get to 10, now what we're going to do is we're going to create your landing page. We're going to set it up so that you can now begin to coach other people on how, and especially young folks,
right?
Who love the whole music thing, but don't know what they can do with AI.
Right.
And if you at 72 can do it, somebody's certainly going to say, well, she can do it, I can do it. So these are just a couple of things, all the way down to even creating prompts, creating GPTs, customized.
I've heard of GPTs, but can you explain it just because somebody?
So sure. So when we go to Chat GPT, we are using a program or a platform that has been, for lack of a better term, programmed to do certain things, to learn and to anticipate and to create. Now it can do so much more, create images for you, etc.
Right.
But you can actually create your own GPT. So let's say you have a process that you go through to do something, a workflow in your business or where you work, etc. You can create a GPT whereby people are able to enter certain information and it will follow all the steps and give you, let's just say you wanted to create a business plan, right? You need a business plan for someone, for yourself. You can create a GPT that will actually ask a series of questions that after answering them, it'll spit out the complete business plan in the format that you want with all the information needed It's all a matter of you telling it what it needs to do.
And I have used it for that.
And you can sell it. You can create your own and sell it. How many people have been starting businesses since COVID in record numbers?
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? It's an arduous task to pull together this, to pull together that. I like to use Perplexity for research.
I do too.
I use ChatGPT as a strategizer to help me with strategy. And I use Claude for my writing.
Okay.
Claude is an excellent writer.
Right.
And then I've got here a couple. I was on the Lovable track. I'm gonna give it props, but Manus, Manus, oh my goodness, Manus is my boy. All right, I got on the waiting list. I was an early adopter. For Manus, and got on the waiting list. And was so excited when I got the invitation. And do you know, Meta just bought Manus like a month or so ago for $2 billion.
And what is Manus? I'm not familiar.
Manus is an agent.
Oh, I've heard the term agent.
Yeah. So whereas mostly ChatGPT has agents built in too. Mm-hmm. But when it first came out, it was just, you put in, like I said, you put in a prompt and it give you answers. Mm-hmm. With Manus, I said, Manus, I want to create a website that does this, 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 and this, and this. And matter of fact, I created an app. It's about to be launched. Mm-hmm. And Manus said, okay. And then it started working. Mm-hmm. And it showed me the screen with all the code and whatnot.
I mean, this is very exciting stuff.
Hello, come on now. See, and this is what I'm saying. If you don't have that mindset to say, I'm willing to try, to see what I can create. I have a coach, and I had a session with my coach yesterday. We hadn't talked for probably about a month. And because he said, William, you're done. Okay. All right. You're done. So he said, I'm still here for some technical advice, what have you. But when I showed him the app that I've created, the website that I've created for my church, the websites that I've created for myself, and the couple of things that I'm working on, mm-hmm. He said, I'm really amazed. He said, first of all, he said, you're dangerous. Okay. But like I told him, necessity is the mother of invention.
Right.
And I got tired of waiting on other people. Mm-hmm. And he told me, he said, with what you have done in the past month, if you had to pay somebody, mm-hmm. it would have cost you a lot of money. Mm-hmm. We're talking 5 figures. Mm-hmm. You would have had a bunch of headaches trying to get folks to do what you needed to do in a timely manner. And it still might not have been right.
Right.
So
guys, you see how excited William is about AI. I'm going to have to reel him in so we can move on.
I'm sorry.
Just one more question though about the AI. What's a realistic income expectation and time frame for people to actually start seeing some money?
Look, I did a class for a business group called How to Generate $1,000 in 30 days or less. Okay. And the only reason why I said 30 days or less, because if I told them in a week, I didn't think they believed me.
Okay.
But literally, you could start tonight, and by the week, what's today? This is Tuesday. By the weekend, you could have a site that generates income for you. And you could start by selling something as low as $27, $47. Mm-hmm. And then it's about numbers.
Right.
But literally, you could start with something that's $1,000. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But at the end of the day, yes, within a few days, you could actually start generating income.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about articulating your values.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So here's the thing. Your resume, let's start there. Mm-hmm. Your resume needs to be full of accomplishments. Back in the day, and unfortunately, most people who really don't understand today have a resume that's full of duties and tasks. I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that, I did this, and other duties as assigned. Companies don't care about that today. Hiring managers don't care about that. Mm-hmm. What they care about is how did you do with those duties and tasks for the company, organization, association for which you did them for? How did you do? What did you accomplish for them? Mm-hmm. What's the value of having you in that role doing that thing? When you can articulate that, now we're on path to showing our value, as opposed to saying, I, um, I fielded telephone calls, opened the mails, and gave great customer service. As a matter of fact, a real life example, I had a woman who was a cashier for a big box store.
Okay.
And that's where in her resume originally it said, I rang customers and gave excellent customer service.
Okay.
That was her bullet point. And so I said, okay, first of all, how'd you know you gave great customer service? Well, they had these customer satisfaction surveys and I was always in the top.
Okay.
Why didn't you have that in your resume as a bullet? All right, you rang customers. So now, how much did you ring? How many customers did you see? How much did you ring on average? Start with an average day. Well, I saw it probably had about in a day, maybe 100 customers come through my line. Okay, so you started off with, maybe $500. Yeah, okay. So at the end of the day, how much did you have? Oh, probably about $4,500. So what you're telling me is that you generated $4,000. How many days a week did you work? 5. So that's $20,000 a week that you generated for your company while maintaining 95% customer excellence with your customer satisfaction service. Doesn't that bullet point sound a whole lot better than rang customers and gave good customer service?
That's pretty awesome. So do people hire you to coach them through this or help them with their resumes or articulate their value or
Yes.
And how do you work with the client? What is your approach strategy? Is it so many hours?
I have 4 pillars.
Okay.
Okay. And depending on, I have different packages at different times.
Okay.
But the bottom line is all the packages have the 4 pillars built in. Your raving resume, your powerful profile, your magnetic interviews, and your outstanding networking. Those are your 4 pillars.
Okay.
Whether you're a business or you're an individual, the 4 pillars is applicable. And so with that, I've been fortunate enough over my career now to have worked with over 60,000 people. And some people do what I tell them to do, some don't.
Now, how do you work with 60,000 people? It's only 24 hours in a day.
You know, it's funny. When someone was asking me the other day, I was doing a class, and she said, when do you sleep? But the truth is, I've been blessed to have great contracts, as I mentioned.
Okay.
And so when you look at the contracts that I've had, and I am doing the math and the number of people, it's been a little over 60,000 people.
Okay.
One team that I worked on during COVID, me and the team were responsible for helping over 41,000 people get hired during COVID. And let me just say, this job market that we're in is worse than COVID. It's crazy market.
I believe that.
Which is why you have to do something different than what everybody else is doing.
To stand out.
Yeah, I got to stand out.
So what's one thing you want to leave the listeners with today?
Oh, my goodness.
Top 1.
Step out of your comfort zone and do something different. You want something different, you got to do something different.
Right. Where can people find your work or follow you? Can you provide them with that information?
So I'm going to give you 2. I usually say just 1. I'm going to give you 2. Number 1, YouTube. Go to YouTube and type in Get Up and Get a Job and hit subscribe. Hit subscribe. Get Up and Get a Job. Hit subscribe. And then you can find me on LinkedIn, William W. Craig 3.
And the last thing I always ask our guests is, what is reblooming in your life right now?
Oh my gosh, just my zest for living. You know, I've got 2 lovely grandchildren, and what the combination of learning AI and having grandchildren has done for me is actually said I can leave them a legacy. It's not too late. A lot of people feel like, oh, it's game over. No. Do you know 99% of the world has not used AI yet? I'm going to say that again. 99% of the world has not used AI. So
that's pretty shocking, because I thought I was like the last person.
and let me qualify that. Not used it in the way in which we've talked about today.
Right.
Many people are still using tools like ChatGPT, like a glorified Google.
Right.
And they're just searching. They're looking for sales, that kind of thing. but you're not too late. You're right on time. Between now and the next, where are we, 2026? And between now and 2030, this is the time. You need to make it happen. And that's the one thing. It has reinvigorated me to use my imagination and whatever I can, what is it? Whatever the mind can conceive, it can achieve using AI.
Well, thank you so much for coming on to share all your knowledge and experience.
No, thank you for the invitation. Thank you.
And thank you, Rebloomers, for tuning in today. So keep growing, keep shooting for the stars.
Rebloom, y'all.
Thank you for spending this time with me on Rebloom. If this conversation spoke to you, share it with someone else who might be ready for their next chapter. And remember, reinvention doesn't mean starting over, it means starting wiser. Until next time, keep growing, keep rising, and keep blooming.